Thanks for joining us on the CBN News Channel. I'm Heather Sells. New information today about the man who exposed the National Security Agency's massive spying on American phone and internet use. He is a 29-year-old contractor who claims to have worked at both the NSA and the CIA. Many are calling him a hero, but some in Washington say he should be prosecuted. It's being called one of the largest national security leaks in recent American history. And the man responsible for bringing it to the public's attention is speaking out.
That awareness of wrongdoing sort of builds up, and you feel compelled to talk about it.
Edward Snowden came forward and spoke to reporters Glenn Greenwald and Laura Poitras of The Guardian newspaper this weekend. He says he was on the job only 3 months when he discovered that the top secret government agencies were collecting phone records of Americans and gathering data from major U.S. internet companies. He says he revealed the program because it invades privacy.
Even if you're not doing anything wrong, you're being watched and recorded.
Government officials call Snowden's actions reckless and dangerous. In a press conference, President Obama said the government surveillance was necessary to fight terrorism.
But the fact of the matter is, in our modern history, there are a whole range of programs that have been classified because when it comes to, for example, fighting terror, our goal is to stop folks from doing us harm.
Some lawmakers are calling for Snowden to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, and the Justice Department has launched a criminal investigation.
It's dangerous to our national security, and it violates the oath of which that person took. I absolutely think they should be prosecuted.
Other lawmakers support Snowden's actions. Senator Rand Paul says he wants to block the NSA's broad surveillance programs.
But we're talking about trolling through billions of phone records. We're not talking about going after a terrorist. I'm all for that. But don't troll through 1 billion phone records every day. That is unconstitutional. It invades our privacy.
Senator Paul is considering filing a class action lawsuit at the U.S. Supreme Court. Snowden says he won't be silenced by government intimidation. He told The Guardian that he may try to seek asylum in Iceland. And Seton Motley is the founder and president of the group called Less Government. He joins us now for more. Seton, President Obama says this program is not targeting Americans, but people overseas. Does that sound accurate based on the reports we've been hearing?
Well, if they're collecting billions of domestic phone records from Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile, that means they got my parents who live in Northern Virginia and absolutely are not foreign. They don't make any foreign phone calls, none that I'm aware of. And again, this is a patently absurd argument. You'll notice that Barack Obama has taken to calling the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act the Federal Intelligence Surveillance Act as a sort of mulling up of the situation to try to confuse people as to what the purpose of that law is.
Now, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act court approves requests for surveillance from the government, but it hasn't rejected any of them. Are there any real checks and balances protecting Americans from government snooping?
Well, again, they should never have been granted this warrant for the Verizon records because you're massively collecting data on domestic-to-domestic calls. My mother calling me is not a terrorist action, and there's no way the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act court should have any jurisdiction on allowing the government to collect the metadata on that call.
Yeah, now talk about this metadata because we're being assured that the government is only collecting metadata and not really listening to the content of our calls or internet activities. What's your take on that?
Well, that's irrelevant. What this is a record to go back and get any call they want is what they're doing. I mean, the metadata is like looking at a house online but not actually touring the house. You have all the information on the house. You just haven't actually seen the inside of the house yet, but you know everything about that house. Just like with the metadata, you know everything about the phone call except the actual content of the phone call. It serves as a Rolodex of all these billions and billions of American calls, so you can go back and get them later should you wish.
How do you see the Fourth Amendment playing into this? Shouldn't that keep the government from randomly searching our phone and internet records?
None of this should happen under the Fourth Amendment. None of it. You need a warrant. You know, we talk about you're in the Fourth Amendment, you're protected in your papers. And since we're talking about digital stuff, I always say, can you print out whatever it is you're talking about. And if it is, then it's your papers and you're protected under the Fourth Amendment. There's no way they should be preemptively collecting data like this. It is clearly a Fourth Amendment violation.
All right, Seaton, where do you see all this going? What's next?
Well, I think, Mike Rogers is a good congressman, but I have to disagree with him as far as Snowden is concerned. You take an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution. If you're given an order to violate the Constitution, I think it's your duty to do what he's done. I'm not sure. He may get prosecuted, which would be unfortunate. I'm not entirely sure. I think where this goes forward is you're going to see a lot of people like him that have been uncomfortable with what's been going on in the government. Now that they see other people coming out and saying stuff, they're going to feel emboldened. They're going to do it too. I think we're going to see a lot more of this before it's over.
Seaton Motley with Less Government, thanks very much.
Thank you.
All right, police have identified the suspected gunman who went on a deadly shooting rampage in California. He is 23-year-old John Zawahiri. Police say Zawahiri began his spree of violence Friday by killing his father and older brother, then setting their home on fire. Heavily armed, he then went on a chaotic shooting spree in the streets of Santa Monica and at a local community college he once attended. He allegedly shot and killed 4 people and wounded several others. A 5th victim died of her injuries Sunday. A law enforcement source says Zawahiri suffered mental health issues in the past and had a run-in with the law once before. Police are investigating a motive. The FBI has removed material that may be offensive to Muslims from its anti-terror training guidelines. A report from Judicial Watch shows that materials linking the Muslim Brotherhood to terrorism or profiling terrorists as young male immigrants of Middle Eastern appearance are now gone. The Bureau calls such references unsuitable in the current political context. An independent group of subject matter experts reviewed the FBI's training curricula on counterterrorism. They recommended the removal of presentations and curricula on Islam from FBI offices around the country. In Belgium, controversy over a researcher fired for being too religious. The school that fired him, a historically Catholic university. Dale Hurd has the story from the city of Leuven.
The Catholic University of Leuven is the oldest and largest university in Belgium. It was founded in the 1400s under the approval of the Vatican. But as modern Europe has secularized, so has the university. And even here, faith has come under fire.
People can believe a lot of crazy stuff nowadays and not get fired from their jobs. But a senior research associate at the Catholic University of Leuven discovered that you better not believe that God can heal.
Fernando Pauls worked at the university's Research Institute for Work and Society for 11 years without a negative review, when he was suddenly fired.
If you'd have asked me, do you get a new contract? I would say yes, of course. Do you have problems with your colleagues? No, everything's fine, you know. So there was no issues there. A week later, I'm out, and I'm like, what happened?
What happened was the Catholic University's great displeasure with Fernando's ministry website, powerthroughlove.be, that included testimonies of people healed through the power of God.
The university saw some of these movie clips of people giving a testimony of being healed, and they called that unscientific.
The university, which declined our interview request, said when a researcher working on matters of a scientific or medical nature allows religion to take the place of science, he compromises the scientific reputation of the university and breaks the bonds of trust with the university.
If I'm fired because of believing something unscientific like that Jesus Christ still heals, I'm fine. I'm okay with that, but it's wrong.
Ward Kennis of the Christian Democratic Party serves in the Flemish Parliament.
I was very much surprised that a Catholic university, which is also a university where I've studied myself, was behaving like this.
Rick Torfs, on faculty at the university, is also a national media figure who wrote about the case for the Flemish newspaper The Standard.
Freedom of religion means that people can believe whatever they like or whatever they feel attracted to.
Torfs was recently elected faculty dean at the university and told us that if elected, he would rehire Fernando.
So how can Belgium claim to have freedom of religion?
That's a good question. A right is not a right when it cannot be exercised.
Fernando, who has a heart for the persecuted church, especially in Pakistan, told us he feels privileged to have suffered for Christ, but he also wants those Christians who come after him to be protected from discrimination.
One day I'll stand in front of the Lord, and then he will say to me, well done. That's all that counts. That's all that matters. The rest is details.
Dale Hurd, CBN News in Leuven, Belgium.
Well, Norway is one of the most secular nations in Europe, and now the best-selling book there is the Bible. Officials at the Lutheran Church of Norway say the newfound interest in the Bible shows that it still resonates in their country. Only 1% of the 5 million people there regularly go to church. A publishing executive in Norway says increased immigration has probably been a factor. She says now that Norwegians are exposed to other faiths, they've gotten more interested in their own. Back here in the U.S., a new report in Education News shows the number of homeschooled children has increased by 75% since 1999. Researchers also say the number of primary-aged homeschool kids is growing 7 times faster than public school kids. Dr. Brian Ray at the National Home Education Research Institute says the increase is partly because the large number of children homeschooled in the 1990s are now homeschooling their own children. Currently, 4% of all school-age children are educated at home. And coming up, Boy Scouts on the chopping block, how churches are struggling with the right response in the wake of the Gay Scouts decision.
Today we're on a field trip to discover what inflation is doing to our paper money. In this hand is a $20 bill, and in this hand is a $20 U.S. gold coin. They used to have the same buying power, but how much can they buy today? In this first basket is what my $20 bill buys: milk, bread, peanut butter, and jelly. And here's what one $20 gold coin will buy: 6 baskets full, worth nearly $2,000, almost 100 times more food, simply by owning gold dollars instead of paper dollars. History shows that the gold coins have been the best way to beat the rising cost of living. So class, the moral is that unless you want to live on peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in the future, you should turn some paper dollars into gold coins now. How and why is explained in a new book, The Great Debasement. Call the number below for a totally free copy. And that's the simple truth.
Help! If an emergency happened right now, you can have help at the push of a button with Medical Alert.
Remember when I took that fall, Mary?
Oh, yes, that was terrible.
Yes, it was.
Help!
And I thought, what if you hadn't been there? I ordered my Medical Alert the next day.
I can't describe how safe I feel now with my Medical Alert. You didn't know I was wearing it, did you?
Medical Alert is easy to install, waterproof, and covers you inside your home and out.
It helps me feel safe from fires, break-ins.
And of course, a Medical Alert. And if you don't have a home phone, don't worry. They have that covered.
There's always help at the push of a button. Don't wait till you need it.
Get Medical Alert for less than $1 a day. There are no long-term contracts. Order now and get your second button free. Call for your free brochure.
For your free Medical Alert system with second button free, call 800-575-8507.
From CBN.
Broken Eardrum is playing at the Civic tonight.
And you'll just have to miss it.
This is so incredibly unfair.
A special story of love and sacrifice.
Joy, Mom comes up with something.
Christopher Quantum, you and I are going to discuss your attitude right this minute. Superbook.
No.
Join the Superbook DVD Club and get Superbook's newest episode, He is Risen. Plus 2 copies to share with others. All for your gift of $25.
They have arrested Jesus, the Messiah. Do you not know that I have the power to crucify you?
No! Please! You can't! They've taken him to Golgotha. We must hurry. Mary is about to lose her son. The worst thing any mother could face. I am not leaving her.
Superbook. It's an amazing way to build a strong spiritual foundation in the children you love.
Mary, who are you looking for?
I've seen him! He is alive!
Superbook. He is Risen. Available now.
Protections for gay and lesbian students are buried in the proposed rewrite of the nation's education law. They include a ban on discriminating against students who are gay or perceived as gay. Schools that do not provide protection to gay and lesbians could see a significant funding cut. The Senate Education Committee will consider the bill tomorrow. Already, lawmakers in the Republican-led House are saying they're concerned the bill goes too far in telling local schools how to teach their students. Well, now that the Boy Scouts have decided to allow openly gay Scout members, churches that sponsor Scout troops are trying to decide what to do. Tomorrow, the Southern Baptist Convention meets, and it will be addressing that question. Caitlin Burke takes a look at the concerns many church groups are facing.
The Boy Scouts of America are known for their commitment to God, country, and morality.
We joined Boy Scouts because we like the leadership model, we like what they teach, we like how they're influencing our boys. And I think if you introduce this whole homosexual idea, it becomes the focus. It becomes the fear. It becomes the awkward situation. And it takes away from what the boys are there for.
70% of Boy Scout troops are chartered by faith-based organizations. We spoke with some local pastors to find out what they think the church's response should be.
Jesus was able to speak unabashed truth into the lives of people. Truth sometimes they weren't prepared to hear or act upon. Sometimes truth they didn't even know. But he would do so with a heart of love and respect for their value. The church is called to be engaged with its culture, to be engaged with the lives of everybody, and that means in ways that we have understood in the past and ways that we're yet to understand how they're going to play out.
We have relatives, we have sisters, brothers, cousins, aunts, whatever, that are in that lifestyle. Do we stop loving them? No, we don't stop loving them, but we have to tell them the truth.
Caitlin Burke, CBN News.
Up next, it's where the Boston bombers learned about jihad, and they didn't have to go very far to get there. So who's teaching these terrorists? We've got that shocking report just ahead.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans, with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right, you could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
A few years ago, FBI agents uncovered documents revealing the Muslim Brotherhood's strategy to transform America into an Islamic state. A key part of the plan calls for American Muslim groups to promote the Brotherhood's radical message. Eric Stackelbook has this look at how one of those groups is spreading its influence in a city that recently experienced a deadly Islamic terror attack.
U.S. authorities are still piecing together how the two brothers behind the recent Boston Marathon bombing became Islamic terrorists. Tamer and Zharniev had traveled to al-Qaeda hotbeds in southern Russia where authorities believe he may have met with known terrorists. Closer to home, he and his brother attended a Boston area mosque with radical ties.
The fact is that these fellows attended, just blocks from their house, a radical mosque that has been the center of controversy in Boston for 10 years.
Charles Jacobs leads Americans for Peace and Tolerance, a group that has closely monitored Islamic radicalism in the Boston area. He told CBN News the Islamic Society of Boston Mosque in Cambridge has seen convicted Islamic terrorists pass through its doors.
The founder of that mosque, blocks from where the Tsarnaevs lived and where they prayed, was Abdul Rahman Al-Amoudi. He is the model of deception in American Muslim history. He convinced President Clinton and also President Bush that he was precisely the kind of moderate Muslim leader that America was looking for. In fact, he deceived everyone. He's now in jail for 23 years for giving money for funding al-Qaeda.
Other worshippers at the Cambridge Mosque have included Afia Siddiqui, an al-Qaeda member convicted of plotting attacks on New York City, and Tariq Mahena, sentenced to 17 years in prison for planning to assault a Boston area shopping mall with automatic weapons. Sheikh Youssef al-Qaradawi, a former trustee of the mosque, is a Muslim Brotherhood spiritual leader and terrorist supporter who's banned from entering the United States. Jacobs stressed that it's unclear whether the mosque played any role in the Zharniev brothers' radicalization. But CBN News spoke to one moderate Muslim leader who visited the mosque with his wife in 2003 and was shocked by what he found. Tell us about the Islamic Society of Boston and what you saw there firsthand.
Going to upstairs, I found their library, and it's full of flyers from newsletter in Arabic, and they, a call for jihad against America and against the Jews and against the Christian. And at that time, there was a sheikh giving sermon, and the sheikh is as fanatic as the written materials.
The group behind the Cambridge Mosque is called the Muslim American Society, or MAS. It was founded in 1993 by Muslim Brotherhood members and has dozens of chapters throughout the United States. Federal prosecutors have called MAS the overt arm of the Muslim Brotherhood in America. Its ties to the Brotherhood, a group dedicated to establishing Islamic Sharia law worldwide, have not stopped MAS from expanding in Boston. In 2009, it opened another mosque in Boston's Roxbury neighborhood, just a few miles from the Cambridge location. The Islamic Society of Boston Cultural Center is the second largest mosque on the entire East Coast. It cost $15.5 million to build, and more than half of that money reportedly came from Saudi Arabia. The Roxbury Mega Mosque is the sister mosque to the one in Cambridge.
They share exact leadership. They're owned by the same people. It's the Muslim American Society. The trustees are the same. They may have different day-to-day managements, but it's the same.
Jacobs says the two mass mosques also share the same radical Muslim Brotherhood ideology. Yet Massachusetts Governor Deval Patrick and Boston Mayor Thomas Menino both endorsed the Roxbury Mosque when it opened in 2009. Jacobs' organization released a video showing Governor Patrick publicly embracing a controversial imam at a 2010 event at the mosque. During a sermon just 2 months prior, that imam, Abdullah Farouk, had seemingly encouraged worshippers to engage in violence when supporting Muslims who have been arrested on terrorism charges.
Grab onto the typewriter, grab onto the shovel, grab onto the gun and the sword. Don't be afraid to step out into this world and do your job.
Jacobs was encouraged recently when Governor Patrick disinvited the imam of the Roxbury Mosque from an event honoring the victims of the Boston Marathon terror attack. CBN requested an interview with representatives of the Roxbury Mosque, but received no response. A spokeswoman for the Cambridge Mosque declined an interview due to health reasons. Local Muslim sources told CBN News that followers of the Muslim Brotherhood have also tried to take over other mosques in the Boston area. Dr. Mansour calls it a nationwide problem.
They are using the American Constitution, the American values of freedom of belief and freedom of speech, and the American mosques.
Eric Stackelbeck, CBN News, Boston.
And we'll be right back. Stay with us. When you're driving along and your cell phone rings, do your eyes instantly go off the road? Then you need to get a grip. Hi, David Jones here with the new GripGo, the most versatile hands-free mount that will instantly grip any phone for safe driving. Just attach the suction cup to your windshield or dash, and GripGo grabs your phone ultra fast. Then it peels right off. And don't worry, there's no sticky residue left behind. The 360-degree pivoting mount allows you to always get the perfect viewing angle. It's even strong enough to grab and hold this expensive smartphone out the window. Yet it comes right off with ease. That's the advantage of GripGo. You can get the amazing GripGo with dashboard mount for only $14.95. We'll send you a second kit free. Just pay separate processing and handling. Get 2 complete GripGo systems for just $14.95.
To order GripGo for $14.95 plus processing and handling, call 1-800-709-5259 or order online at getgripgo.com.
Jim is 38, mortgage, married, 3 great kids. He wants to protect his family with a $500,000 term life insurance policy. What do you think it'll cost him? $100 a month? 60? 40? Actually, none of the above. Jim can get a $500,000 policy from a highly rated insurer for under $19 a month. His secret? SelectQuote. SelectQuote is impartial. They'll comparison shop the pick of insurance companies like these to give you a choice of your best prices. SelectQuote has great savings on term life for women, too. Jim's wife, Deidre, can get a $500,000 policy for under $16 a month. SelectQuote has helped make term life insurance affordable for hundreds of thousands of people since 1985. How about you? Just call this number or go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Flying a helicopter with just your mind sounds like something out of science fiction, but researchers at the University of Minnesota made it work. They guided the small remote control helicopter through an obstacle course. The lead author of the study says it shows that people can control flying robots with just their thoughts. The person who sends out the thoughts wears a special cap that interprets the brain's electrical impulses. Scientists hope to put the technology to use in the future in artificial limbs like arms that people can control with their thoughts. And finally today, Operation Blessing and Bon Secours hospitals teamed up to bring food and health care to hundreds of struggling families in Hampton Roads, Virginia. The event was called Compassion 2013, Satisfying the Hungry. Hundreds of families were given free groceries and health screenings. Operation Blessing supplied 10,000 pounds of groceries and had the mobile kitchen on site to provide free meals and cooking demonstrations. And that's all for now on the CBN News Channel. You can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com. And tell us what you think about the stories you've seen today on Facebook or at CBN News on Twitter. We hope you'll join us next time. Have a great day.
If you had a choice between going bald and a full head of hair, which would you choose? Advances in medical science have resulted in the world's first and only permanent solution to hair loss.
Yes!
You wash it, you cut it. It's your own real, naturally growing hair. When it comes to hair restoration, no one in the world has more experience than Bosley. The results look completely natural and are affordable on nearly any budget. But the entire process can't be explained in 60 brief seconds. So to find out more about this clinically proven and permanent solution to hair loss, call now to receive your free no-obligation information kit. It'll answer all of your questions about hair loss and hair restoration. Plus, we'll also send you this $250 gift certificate just for calling. Every day you wait, you're losing more hair. So don't put it off any longer. You owe it to yourself to find out the facts. Choose hair. Choose Bosley.
Call 800-868-9957. That's 800-868-9957.
Introducing the CBN Bible from CBN.com. Now, an easier way to study the Bible and grow in your faith. Highlight your favorite verse. Read separate versions at a glance. Click and read a commentary. Or cross-reference your favorite verse using the Strong's Concordance. All the right tools to study the Bible, all in one place. The CBN Bible, available at cbn.com/Bible or the iTunes App Store.